Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Heather Contant. She is a 25-year veteran as a mortgage consultant, mortgage expert. And just a little bit from off of her LinkedIn profile, my dedication and passion and overall caring for my clients' best interests are what drives me to be an expert in mortgage financing. I pride myself on providing professional advice and high-level customer service. Whether you are purchasing, refinancing, transferring a mortgage, renovating, or building either commercial or residential, with access to all lending channels, I am able to find the right solution for your mortgage needs. Now, that's quite a bit of stuff coming from you, Heather. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, I know when we first met, we were all in a business conference, and you always look confident and just ready to serve people as they come to you. And, very, very vibrant and fantastic person. So
thank you.
Yeah. So, what got you into doing mortgage brokering to begin with?
Oh, what got me into it? Well, actually, I was getting separated. And after raising my two kids, and I was a competitive figure skating coach, I found myself going down the divorce path and had to compile papers necessary to build my case throughout my divorce. And I had to find my mortgage documents, which I don't even remember signing as a newbie homeowner. And didn't know anything about mortgages. I didn't make the payments. I had nothing to do with that. And as I started to compile the information, I started really getting interested in mortgages and learning about everything. I actually learned so much that the judge actually said to me, well, Heather, I'm going to let you take over this portion because you seem to know what you're talking about. And I think then the light went on and I was like, wow, I don't want anyone ever to sign their mortgage documents and not have a clue of the power of your mortgage or, how the mortgage works, anything about a mortgage, all the way down to the vocabulary. So that's really what got me into being a mortgage broker.
Wow. Because being the person who's clearly not the expert on or mortgage brokering, and I actually hire people to do a lot of my financial stuff because I just don't understand the language.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I always say, it's not rocket science. Yes, the language is intimidating, but you can learn it, right?
Yeah. It looks so intimidating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that intentional?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a really good realtor help me with the purchase of my very first home, and if it hadn't been for her walking me through the process, I would have been totally lost. I would have signed anything just so I could have the home I wanted, but at what detriment, right?
Right. Yeah, working
So,
with first-time home buyers is so gratifying because they really are green, and I really pride myself in getting first-time home buyers off to the right start so that they understand their mortgage and they can actually start to leverage their property and start gaining some financial wealth through your mortgage. So, first-time home buyers, I love teaching them the ropes, which a lot of banks, they don't really have the time to do that. So I think that's one of the values that a mortgage broker brings to the buyers is that we do take the time to make sure that our purchasers understand exactly what's going on and exactly what everything means.
yeah. So I'm glad that you're out there helping especially the first time buyers to get through that process, because it can be scary and intimidating. So we need somebody like you to make it easy and I guess welcoming is the right word, because it's your home, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you've been doing this for over 20 years, is it?
Yes, over 20 years.
Wow. So,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have ever thought, this is where I would end up, but I'm absolutely, even after 20 years, I'm still passionate about it. If I can help one more person figure out, how to get a mortgage done, creative financing, whether it's an A, B, C, or even a private deal, one
mhm.
more happy client, it's awesome. Like I never
Yeah.
get unexcited about it.
Well, you brought with you today some tips to help people find their way through that process, and hopefully with these tips that they'll actually find their way back to you, and you get to actually help them anyway. So,
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
yeah. So why don't we get started on the tips and what you have for people?
Okay, so one of the programs that I would like to talk today about is the Purchase Plus Improvements program. This is a high ratio program. So you can, if you have 5% down or
Mm-hmm.
up to a maximum of 19.99% down, so it can't be 20% down because that's conventional, but it has to be high ratio, you can actually find your perfect location home, maybe not your dream home, but the location's great, the structure of the property is great, but maybe the interior hasn't been updated or you'd like to bring it up to your own personal standards. You can actually include either all of the cost of those improvements or some of the cost of those improvements into your mortgage. So it's a fantastic program. A lot of realtors aren't really familiar with it, so they're not able to share it with their potential purchasers, or they often forget about the program actually exists.
Wow, that does sound like a amazing program, especially for for a lot of people. They're like, oh, I'll have to give up a concession because they didn't have the house built for them, right? They had to give a concession of this or that, you know, and then they could with this kind of program they could have everything that they wanted
Well,
or
they can
nearly.
you can take a maximum of 10% of the original purchase price,
Hmm.
or a maximum of $40,000 can go into renovations. So let's say, for example, if you wanted to renovate the kitchen, or you wanted to do new flooring throughout the house, or you needed new windows, whatever it is, as long as it adds value to the home, you can include that 10% or maximum of $40,000 into the new purchase price, thereby making your so-so home, into your dream home.
Wow.
And there are a couple of steps that are important to know. The quote has to be done as you submit your application to one of our three insurers in Canada. So you would need to get a quote from your contractor or Home Depot, wherever you're going for your materials and labor. If you're going to do the labor by yourself, you can still get a quote for the materials, do the labor by yourself, and just include the materials in your purchase plus improvements cost.
Very cool.
And the other thing that I need to tell people is you must pay for your renovations up front by yourself. So the lender's not going to give you the money in the beginning. So you can finance those on a credit card, your line of credit, gifted funds, however you can finance your costs for the renovations. You do that on your own. As soon as your renovations are completed, you have your renovations certified by an appraiser, and that document is sent off to the lender from your broker, and the lender then calls the lawyer and lets them know that the holdback funds, the $40,000 or however much it was, can be released to you. So you can get that money back right away and then pay yourself back or pay back however you finance the renovations in the first place. So it's just important for people to realize that they do have to pay for the renovations on their own, and the lender reimburses them at the end of the completion of the renovations. And the reason for this is if the lenders ended up giving you $40,000 right out of the gate, they don't have any security that you're not going to take off to Mexico with that money, right? Because they're actually lending you that money to improve the value of the house. So now instead of your house, let's say it was $600,000 and you put $40,000 into it, the new value is $640,000. But if you took off with the $40,000, that money is gone. The house value hasn't improved, and they're stuck with this. So that's why it's important that clients know that they have to pay for the renovations first, and then it gets credited back to them.
Well, it would still seem to be a benefit when you consider if you pay for them, say with a credit card at a high interest rate, that when you get the reimbursement money and you pay off the credit card, you're now going to pay that back to your mortgage lender at a much lower rate, isn't it?
Yes, and typically the work needs to be completed within 90 days. So it's not something that's going to be going on for a long time. You need to, have your ducks in order and get that work started and completed within 90 days. There are exceptions that can be made, definitely, but it is sort of a short-term renovation program, so that you're not, sitting with your credit card on a high interest rate and not paying it back for a while. So there is a time limit. It is flexible. However.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a great program, especially people are finding now, maybe they can't afford that dream home, but they can find a great house in a location that they're happy with, and it just needs, a little bit of work done to it. And, $40,000 on top of your mortgage, increases your mortgage payment by like $20 a month. So it's a very, very efficient way of doing your renovations through your mortgage, right?
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so will be tip number 2.
Tip number 2 is another thing I'm very passionate about. I'm a certified reverse mortgage specialist, and we're kind of going from first-time home buyers using the Purchase Plus Improvement Program, and now we're kind of jumping over to seniors that are maybe wanting to get some equity out of their home or doing some different things. So a reverse mortgage is a perfect product for that. There have been a lot of kind of bad information that's out there about reverse mortgages, but typically that information is from people that don't really understand what a reverse mortgage is and the value that the reverse mortgage would bring to this niche market. So it's not for everybody. It is a niche product, but it is a very good product. And it actually started 30 years ago in Vancouver. So that's kind of cool.
Wow.
Because that's where I am, right?
Yeah.
Where we are.
That is where we are.
So I just wanted to run through some myths and facts about the reverse mortgage. There's a few of them, and then I'll tell you, maybe explain a little bit more about the reverse mortgage. So one of the myths out there is the bank will own my home. So that is completely untrue. You maintain full title and control of your home. It's just like any other mortgage. Your title does not change.
Mm-hmm.
Second myth is if you get a reverse mortgage, you will end up owing more than your house is worth. So one of the things that the reverse mortgage product does, it only will give you up to 55% of the value of your property. So that's what you call very conservative lending. Whereas a high ratio mortgage, you can get up to 95% of the value of the property. This is only 55% of the value of the property. Therefore, it's keeping a huge portion of your equity in your home. And this product works very well in BC because, as we know, the house prices have risen and continually rise year after year. So you're always maintaining that equity in your home.
Right.
I don't think there's ever been a case. I mean, I could be proven wrong maybe once, but there's never been any negative equity. They actually guarantee a no negative equity. So it's pretty safe that way. Another myth is the bank can force me to sell or foreclose on my property at any time, and that this is completely untrue. I like to tell my clients that a reverse mortgage is like a regular mortgage. It's very simple, except you don't make any payments. It's exactly the same as a mortgage, but you're not making a payment on it. So a reverse mortgage is a lifetime product as well, just like a regular mortgage is. They will never ask you to foreclose or sell your home or foreclose on your home at any time. Myth number 4, reverse mortgages are too expensive because the rates are high. Actually, the rates have come down, and right now the rate is at about 4.59%, which is amazing for a product that you're actually not making any interest payments even on, and you're actually able to stay in your home. So these rates are actually more favorable than, let's say, an older couple was in financial trouble and they were looking at a private lender. A private lender can be at a rate of, anywhere between, 9 to 15%, depending on where the property is located.
Right.
So the reverse mortgage product, the rates can be more favorable than alternative lending rates. And myth number 5 is the reverse mortgage is a last resort solution. And this is kind of this myth is centered around kind of the bad information that's put out on the internet about reverse mortgages are getting. This myth is in fact not true at all. There are most of the major banks in Canada, if not all of them, actually recommend reverse mortgages to their senior population. So it's not a last resort solution at all. A lot of seniors are taking out a reverse mortgage for many, many different reasons. It can be used to maybe take out money because you want to help a grandchild or your adult children to buy another property. You can take the money out to buy a vacation home, or take the money out to take your whole family on a dream vacation when we can start traveling again, of course. Right. You can You can renovate your home with this money. You can use the money to, maybe you need to have wheelchair access. Maybe you need to have home care. You can take this money out and do whatever you want with it. So it's not for people that are in, dire straight situations. Yes, it can be beneficial for that, but that is not the purpose of a reverse mortgage. Myth number 6, I can't get a reverse mortgage if I have an existing mortgage. You actually can get a reverse mortgage. What happens is the reverse mortgage and any other existing debt gets taken over and is in first position. So that current mortgage and any debt that you have can actually be paid out by the reverse mortgage, and you don't make any payments on that. So let's say you're a senior, you've got your pension income, you've got supplemental pension income. That doesn't get affected by the fact that you've got a reverse mortgage. You may be taking money out. You can take money out of your house to actually top up your pension income, so you can take out money monthly on your reverse mortgage and not have to worry about not having enough money at the end of the month. It's a great option to consolidate any outstanding mortgages or debt that you may have. And we also know that seniors are retiring with more debt than ever in their lives, and they also don't want to give up their lifestyle. So on pension income, which is, a big change from people that are used to earning their salaries, now they're into earning just their pension income, and they've still got payments. This is a nice option for them to go into a reverse mortgage and not have to make those payments and have their pension income that they can live on with no problem. The other myth is, and this is quite interesting, is that a home equity line of credit is a better option. So the major banks will give you lines of credit. However, a line of credit is really just a short-term borrowing option. They are callable loans with monthly payments. So the caution here for seniors is, if you have a line of credit on your house and you're only making your interest-only payment, you may think, well, that's great. I only have to make the interest payment. However, if you or your spouse happens to pass away, the bank can actually call that line of credit in and demand that be paid out immediately. So this is where a reverse mortgage is a great product. Either A, like I said before, they will never call your loan if a spouse passes away. And right. B, in reverse mortgage, you don't even have to make that interest payment. So it's a fantastic option to free up some cash and not have to worry about, if you or your spouse passes away, that you have to pay that line of credit out.
Very cool.
Yeah. So
especially after you eliminated some of the myths,
Exactly. And that is the biggest obstacle in a reverse mortgage, is overcoming the myths out there. And as I said in the beginning, the information that people are getting, if you said, well, I talked to my sister, I talked to my friend, and they said reverse mortgages are, terrible, they're horrible. You should never get a reverse mortgage. It's all a scam. Right. Okay, where are you getting your information from? Well, I read it on the internet. It's just like, you need to get your advice from an expert. I'm not going to ask, say, you, Michael, for instance, why do I have it ticking in my car when it's idling? Are you a car mechanic? No, you aren't.
I would I would instantly refer you to my auto mechanic, who would be able to answer that question a lot better than I could.
Exactly. So sometimes, family and friends are great to find out, hey, where's the best place to, buy, a new TV, but maybe not so great saying, hey, I'm thinking about a reverse mortgage. What do you think about that? And they have absolutely no information or experience in dealing with reverse mortgages. So that's our biggest obstacle, is knocking down the myths, because I am very passionate about this product. Like I said in the beginning, it's not for everybody. It is a niche product. but it's non-taxable money. You can help out family with it. You can help yourself with it. Right now, adult children are so busy trying to keep up their own homes and trying to keep up to help out their own kids. And now they've got aging parents that maybe don't want to go into a nursing home, right? And the adult children don't want to take them into their home. The parents want to stay in their own home. This is a perfect way to keep parents in their own homes, and they always do better in their own environment, right? As soon as you move someone, that's getting up there in years, they don't know where everything is anymore, and then that's when they start going downhill.
Right.
As you can tell, I'm super passionate about this product.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this in comparison to how does reverse mortgage compare to having to pay out to be in a nursing home. In some cases, it's between $6,000 and $8,000 a month to be in a one that's going to be reputable and actually take care of your parents.
Actually, up to 12,000 now.
Yeah, it does keep piling on, doesn't it?
Exactly. So what you're doing there is, you'd be selling your parents' house and taking that money and putting into a nursing home. So you're looking at $120,000 a year, right to the nursing home.
Right.
Or if you don't need to have that to be in that nursing home, you can actually bring people in. Now you've kept your property. Your property is going up in value every year. Your 4.5% interest is accruing on that, but you're able to keep your parents there and not having to pay. It's not going to cost you $10,000 or $12,000 a month for home care.
Yeah.
Right. So it's always best to hang on to your assets, and most people's biggest asset is their home. It's always best to hang on to that as long as possible because it's accruing in value every year, right? As soon as you sell that asset, now you're just using the funds on that. Whereas in this way, we can still keep the asset. It's increasing in value. We're drawing down on some of the equity, but we're still going to have that equity at the end of it. And the only time that you have to pay back your reverse mortgage is when you sell your home.
That makes sense. Because you sold the asset. Now the bank wants the loan back.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
So that would make sense.
So just in the North Shore, so North Vancouver, West Vancouver, the North Shore corridor alone per year does approximately $38 to $40 million in volume in reverse mortgages,
Wow.
which is very significant. That's not in BC. That's not in all of Canada. That's just the North Shore. So my point here is a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people love the reverse mortgage and all of the benefits. It's not a scam. It's not a bad thing. It's for a niche market, definitely. But it is very much a viable option for many Canadians.
Cool. So where would the next tip be?
What would the next tip be?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the next tip, this one goes back to divorcing. So CMHC and Genworth and Canada Guarantee are 3 insurers in Canada that insure the mortgages for the lenders. And they have a program called the Spousal Buyout program. So often when people are divorcing and they're thinking they have to sell the property, But maybe they don't want, one of them doesn't want to sell the property. They want to keep the children in that home because it's the only environment, the only home that they've been in, and it's a stable environment for the children. One spouse can actually buy out the other spouse, and you can actually take that mortgage up to 95% of the value of the property. And the significance of this is, if, let's say, for example, another couple were looking at refinancing, taking money out of the property to, pay something off or do something else with it, you can only take up to 80% of the value of the property. But there's an exception when it's a spousal buyout, that you can go up to 95% of the value of the property. So you can get another 15% out of the equity should you need to do this. And a lot of people don't know about this program either, and even divorce lawyers don't know about this program. And the beautiful thing about this is it's not just available for spouses, marital breakups, relationship breakups. It can be a brother and a sister that bought a home together. It can be a mom and a son that bought a home together. It can be two friends that maybe bought a home together and lived in it, and one wants to buy the other one out. So it's not just relegated to marital breakups, which is great as well, right? So you can take out, you can buy that other person out of the property and keep the property.
Very cool.
Yeah, as long as you can't take out the money to do other things for it. It has to be all documented. It has to be a written legal agreement that, X amount of dollars is coming out to pay John Doe back for, his portion of the property, and any debt incurred between the two of you that's going to get paid back to that particular person. So it has to be well documented. But it is a great option for people to take advantage of. Instead of selling the property, one of them can actually buy the other one out.
Wow!
So I think that's a great tip for people to keep in their back pocket. It might not be something that they need today, but maybe down the road they might be in a situation where they need this.
Yeah. Well, you've given 3 really great tips and great reasons that people should contact a mortgage broker at different points in their house in their life to make sure that their finances are going to be well taken care of. So
yeah, and even so, Michael, even if one of your listeners has a question or needs clarification, brokers love to talk. We love to talk about what we know because it's all we know. It's all we do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we're always open to, a quick phone call or email and saying, hey, I heard you there. Or I saw you there. Have a quick question for you. We're not always looking, maybe there's not a mortgage in it. But if I can help someone clarify or set them on the right path to do the right thing, I'm super cool with that.
Yeah. So what are the best ways to get a hold of you?
My email address is heathercontant@outlook.com. So Heather, HEATHERCON, as in Nancy, TANT @outlook.com. Or you can call me at 778-996-7283. And my website is just under construction, so it's going to be popping up anytime soon. And just Google me if you don't write that information down. Just Google my name, Heather Contant, and I'd be happy to help your listeners out with anything.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today. And it's still mind baffling to me how many programs there are to actually help people through their life. So thank you for sharing all that today. especially the reverse mortgage, because I think that's going to help a lot of people, a lot of our listeners out, either dealing with a loved one or as they may be headed towards their own retirement, right? So
Right. Yeah. Lots of benefits to that. I think the biggest one is it's non-taxable money.
yeah,
So, why not take that money out and, like I always say to my clients, isn't it about time your house started paying you back? Right? You've been paying on that mortgage for so long. Now it's time. Hey, now it's time for you to help me.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us today, and we will put your contact information out there for all of our listeners to get a hold of you, because I'm sure at some point or another they're going to need your help.
Okay, great. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.